and welcome once again to this Bonita Soft webinar. Are you ready to continue our trip aboard the Bonita Express? My name is Talia, and I'm your captain aboard this Bonita Express. Today we're going to the bank, so it's our stop number 2. And why are we going to the bank? Because we need some cash. We need some cash to continue this trip, so it's time to ask for a loan, and we will see these 3 topics together. So how to make your process model easy to read, how to customize your UIs, and how to manage permissions with default properties. So let's go. Whoop. I'm closing this window, and yeah. So I have just started a project which I call the Acme bank loan. And I have just, I will first just explain you the business data model, okay? So we are asking for a loan. I have just created, so these objects that we will use on our diagrams and our processes. So the first one is a loan request, which contains these attributes. So the ID of the requester, the amount of that we want for this loan, the type of loan, the status, and a duration. So the type, we have several types of loan that the loan administrator, the administrator of the bank and in charge of the loans has put in there. And so it has an attribute, a name, and an interest rate. I have also created just a diagram. I will show it to you. So it's just for adding, for the loan administrator to add new types of loans. So then, yeah, our customers can take a look at them and choose among the available types. Okay, so I have taken into consideration your suggestions. So we will start a new diagram from scratch. So how do I do this? I can go in here in process diagrams and say new, and this will create a new diagram. For now, I will just close this windows so I can really concentrate on the diagram itself. So I will choose the pool, and I will start then by the pool name. So let's call it loan management, okay? And I will, yeah, leave the version, apply, and I will start then with the lanes. I will have 3 different lanes. The first one will be called the customer. Okay, enter. Then I will add another lane, and I will give it the name of customer counselor. Okay, and the third one will be the validation committee. So in this bank, there's this is how it works. We have 3 different actors on this process for asking for a loan. So the customer counselor, and the validation committee. So I will just erase this for now, and I will start, yeah, from the beginning. So our start, I will just say request a loan, because this is what we're doing right now, and it's going to be the customer who is asking for this loan. Then I will just use a gateway, an exclusive gateway, okay? Because in here, there is a condition if it requires validation from committee. And as any exclusive gateway, well, I have a yes or a no, a path, 2 different paths, right? Exclusive paths. So we'll put my line in here, and then so I will put a task for the validation committee. It's going to be a human task, so it's going to be the review loan request. Whoop. And also, I will have, so as I said, this is going to be the yes. So I will put in here the flow for yes. And for now, I will just say, yeah, if my expression is true, I will go here, okay? If no, then the validation comes from the customer counselor. So the task is going to be in here. So validate loan request. Whoop. And so the flow goes in here, right? And as well, I will name this path, no, and I will say this is my default flow. Okay, I will put a little bit here. Don't hesitate when you create your diagrams, your models, to really, we are talking about readability, so we will go a little bit further this time. So yeah, I have two paths, the yes and the no. Now, I will use again an exclusive gateway. So again, to say if it's accepted. This time I will say accepted by counselor, because from this task, I need to know if it has been accepted or not. In parallel, there is, if we have taken, if the validation committee has taken this task, then it's I need to check if it has been accepted by the committee. Whoop. So it's really kind of the same thing, but yeah, we can go this way or this way, and in both we will need to check if it has been accepted or not. So unfortunately, yes, when we ask for a loan, sometimes our request won't be validated, and in that case we will be notified. So for that, I will create a new task for notify refusal. Okay, and this is going to be for the customer that has requested this loan. That means that from here, my path towards no, yeah, I'm going to put the label no, and this will be my default flow, okay? So by default, yeah, my request is being refused, as well as from here, the validation committee has can refuse my request as well. So yeah, the same, no. And this is the default flow, right? And once it had been refused, well, the process ends. So I will just end it this way in KO. Let's put it this way, and request refused. So this is a possible path that, of course, we don't want because we need the cash. And the other possible path is when it has been accepted. So I will use again another exclusive gateway, because it can be accepted from here, from the counselor, or from the validation committee. And in both cases, I need a step in which I expect a validation. So again, I will put in here yes. My condition for now, I just put true, okay? I will just arrange this so it's very clear where I'm coming from. And here I'm just missing the yes. And yeah, I said my condition is true. Okay, and now that I have a validation, I can go to my next task that is going to be for the customer counselor. So he is going to write the loan contract. Okay. Now, now that we have the contract, then it's up to the customer to sign or not this contract, right? So now the task is going to be for the person, the customer. It's going to be as well a human task, so for signing the contract. sign contract. Voila, I will just put it a little bit here. I'm just taking, the time to make a beautiful diagram the way that I like it, so it's really readable. And if everything goes well, the customer will sign this contract, and we will go back again to a task for the customer counselor. Again, a human task. He will validate the contract. And once this is good, then let's go for crediting the funds. Okay, credit funds. Yes, so I'm making it a little bit bigger. So I have a small screen, so it's always a little bit more difficult to show live, but it's okay. Okay, then, and this way I can end then my process as a success this time, because my loan request has been accepted. Success, loan accepted. Yeah, great. Now, what could happen in here also? Let's say, when you have a contract, normally you have a certain time just to sign the contract, right? So if the customer doesn't sign this contract, then it's going to expire. The offer is going to expire. How can we do this? Well, we have some boundary events, and one of them is called the timer. So thanks to this timer, I will be able to set a duration. So if I reach this timeout, then the offer has expired. So I will put it in my process this way. So I will send a notification to the customer that has asked for this loan, and in this way, then my process will end again. This time again as a KO, offer expired. Now I need to configure how much time the boundary event will last. What is the timer condition? So I can go here, edit, and I can choose between a fixed date or a duration. For this case, it's going to be a duration. So the customer will have 3 days to sign the contract once it has all the loan request has been validated. Then finish. So just an important comment about this binary timer, that I will change also the name. So loan offer expiry, is that it will wait if this task has not been completed, so has not been done, so the contract has not been signed. If it has not been signed in 3 days, then it will go here. So it's important, because I have had some discussions with some of you, and it was not very clear about this part. It's not just starting the task, it's really finishing it. Because and I think this case is clear. If the contract is not signed, then it's not done, so it's over. Okay, so I will just save it. I will also, Bonita, help us to check if everything is going correctly. So I will go to the validation status. I can go for refresh. And yes, I can see that I have some errors and I have some warnings. So let's take a look at them. The warnings are saying that the form type that I have not, since I have human tasks, I need to give a form. So because human tasks, normally you need an interface, right? So it's normal to have this kind of warnings. And the other ones is just about the actor, because we have not yet defined who are our actors on our lanes. So let's do this first. So I will choose the customer lane, and then I go to general and actors. So I will add another actor, which I will call just customer, and he will be the initiator of the process. The same way, I will go to the second lane, the customer counselor, and I will do exactly the same thing. So I will have an actor, which is a customer counselor. He's not the initiator of this process. And the third one, the validation committee. Well, it's going to be an actor called committee member. And he's not the initiation either. Okay, so now that I have done this, I can go again to the validation status, refresh, and now my errors are gone. I have just the warnings because I have not worked on the forms, not yet. I'll save it again. Now let's first work on the readability of our diagram. We have this very first version, and I want to go a little bit further this time. So I want to use colors and fonts to make it more readable. How can I do this? So I will choose the element, so the validate loan request, and we have also something called the appearance. So I can go and choose a font. For example, I like the Tahoma. I want it a little bit bigger. Say OK. And then, as I said, I will use colors. So I will use green for all the flow where my loan request is still being studied, right? So I can still go through that flow that will give me the success. And as I said, I can choose another one, for example, go again to appearance, and this time I can say apply same style as, and I will choose this validate loan request. So it had just put the same one. Okay, so we have this homogeneity in our elements. Of course, I can do one by one, or I can choose several ones with control. So I can choose this one, this one, this one, and this one. Again, appearance, and I will say yes, use the same one. And for the rejections or the refusal or the offer expiracy, I will use some red instead. I will just use the same font, Tahoma 11, and I will use some red. Yeah. So easily you have just made your diagram more readable. I also like, for example, on exclusive gateways, when you have to go this way or this way, I like using, for example, another font as well in here. So something like this, and it's just a little bit more visible where you want to go. So I will do the same for the rest, where I have these options. Yeah. Yes, I didn't change this. And oh, I was missing one. So sorry. I will choose it this way. This one, and the appearance. Yay. So now, yeah, I think if you agree with me, this is a little bit more readable with colors, with fonts, and you can, of course, use the ones that are appropriate for your own business. You can also modify on the pool and lane level. So I will just show you how to do it. It's the same way. So you can just select the part of the diagram that you want to modify. For example, say a little bit bigger, and yeah, okay. So this looks a little bit better, more readable. This is great. I will also some good practices just to rename the diagram, right? My diagram, it's not very explicit, so I'll rename it as loan management diagram. And version 1. Okay, so this is our first step. I will, yeah, as I said, I will try to take a look at your questions if you have for this part. The customer, surely the start event should be loan requirement identified. The customer would actually have a step to request the loan. I will try. Yes, so we're talking about this part, right? So we are starting the process, and is the customer who's starting the process. This way, we are also signifying that in here, there's going to be an interface that we are going to work on. And this way, the customer will put all the data that is required for requesting a loan. We will do that part just after. If the request is refused, then whoever has refused should have a task to send reasons for refusal for the customer. Yes, that could be another option for this process. Of course, you can do, don't forget that you can model your process according to your business and according to what you think is best. The good thing is that for now we have a process that works this well, and we can do optimizations on the process level. So don't forget that. That's very important. We have two ways of optimizing this kind of approaches. So the process itself and the technical part. And that could be optimized in two different ways. And finishes or interrupts the task. Are you talking about the this one? The loan offer expiracy, I believe. So this one, in fact, if you have, well, this one, maybe it's not that. Imagine that you are signing the contract, okay? But you have really almost reached the limit. You have, I don't know, like 10 seconds left. So yeah, the bad thing is going to be that you have reached, and now that it has reached this timeout, then you can no longer sign the contract, and then you will go to this way, to the notify offer expiracy. That's how it works. So it doesn't take into account if you have already started signing it. If you haven't signed it when the timeout is reached, then it's considered that the task is not done. But yeah, this is how it is normally used in this kind of process. And this signing a contract, even legally, you have to put some timeouts. Okay, so let's just continue with. So sorry, with the rest. Now I will go to the data. So for this process, as I explained at the beginning, I have a business data model, and I will create a business variable. So this business variable will help me through my loan request. I will call it a loan request, which is of type loan request. So this variable contains all the parts that I already showed on the business data model at the beginning. So I will say, okay, finished. I can see it here. And for example, now I can say that my condition, as I said, requires validations from committee. I will put myself in here. And I will say, just instead of saying, yeah, my condition is true, I will go to the script part. And then I will say, well, I need, if, I will put an if here. If my loan request is greater than 10,000, for example, let's say this is the amount, then return true. Otherwise, return false. Okay, this condition then will be checked. So loan request, sorry, amount. So if the amount of my loan request is greater than 10,000, That means that I will go through this path. It requires a validation from the committee. Okay. Now, so let's go back again to this loan request, and we will start then working on the UIs. So Bonita helps us to create, once we have this, once we have a variable, a business variable, we can easily start a contract. So we can say add from data. This will help us to create forms. So as I said, we have some warnings saying, hey, you have some tasks that require human interaction, but you don't have any forms. So this is what we are going to try to fix. So this is going to say, okay, we are using the business variable and we are instantiating a new business, this business variable, sorry. So let's go for next. And in here, we need to choose what we are going to ask to our user. So the ID of the request of the user, we will not ask the user himself because we can take it programmatically. The amount, yes, we need the user to put the amount, how much money does he or she want. The type of loan, also we need to ask for it. The status, no, we don't need to ask for him. And the duration, yes, we need that information from the customer. So yes, this is my contract, and it will generate a script. So if we want to take a look at the script, we can see it in here. And you will see that it has already put some code in here. So it's easier for developers, for us developers, to put the same, to complete and to start to instantiate a loan request. So I was saying the amount, for example, the type and the duration will come from the form. And the form, as I will show you just after this, it will come from this loan request input, and the form, yeah, will contain this object that we will take from the form. I will also, as I said, some items I can take them programmatically. So that means that I can go for loan request for an ID requester, yes. And how can I get programmatically this? This is also something cool about Bonita, that it has also some code templates. So I can use, for example, the process initiator user. I double click and it will put in there the code that is required to get the process initiator. And so now, I don't know where I put it. Okay, now in here that I have a variable called process initiator, I can just say, okay, my loan request var ID requester is equal to my process initiator dot ID. And that way I have programmatically just put in here my ID of the requester of this loan, as well as I said, the status. It's not going to be the user to put the status of the of his loan, of his request, but I put it in here. So for example, I will start it as new. Something very easy that, of course, you could do it otherwise, but let's put it this way. Sorry. And the type. So something that we have already seen in other webinars is this part of the DAO. So you can find a type that by its persistence ID. And in this way, I'm just taking the persistent ID from the form. So the user will choose a type and I will get the ID and I will just relate it to my loan request. Okay. So this is okay. And then, so let's go back, yes, to this contract. Okay. We have already taken a look at the script, and now we will go to the instantiation form. Something also cool about Bonita is that now that you have these two elements, the contract, you can just click in here and it will create a form with the UI designer. So this is a basic form that we can make it better. So I will just put the preview, but it's also already doing some stuff. So for example, the amount, I cannot put letters, okay? So just numbers. I can just fill out numbers because I have said that the amount was going to be a float. And in the type, okay, it will show the types of loans that I have already created. Let me just run it. Yes, because that way, let me just run this diagram for the loan type that I just showed you. So for my loan, for adding a loan type as an administrator, I can put a name and an interest rate, okay? And interest rate is 10%. This is expensive, okay? So now I can go back to the, to the UI designer that I was using in here. And normally I will be able, yes. So in my preview, once that I have just launched the process, now it's filling out automatically all the types of loan that I have, but it's putting them in a very raw way, right? We can do better and we will do better. But so you know, this is a select widget and we are just showing all the possible available types of loans that we have. And it's doing it, yeah, very easily, right? And the duration for now, it's an input widget. So I could say, I could put whatever I want here, but I don't want to. So I will be a little bit more restrictive. Well, I will help the user to better, to have a form that is easier for the user, right? So first of all, the amount. I can easily change the widget, switch the widget. There is something called the currency input. So this makes sense because we are talking about an amount of money and it's an European bank. So with this widget, it will put the symbol by default that I'm choosing. So I will just say switch. Let me just show you the rendering. So now that I type something, it has already the format with the euros, so the amount. So it's explicit for a currency. Sorry. Now the duration. Let's go to the duration. So again, this is an input widget. I will switch it to a select. So the user can just choose among a selection. So for this bank, I know that the possible values are 12, 18, or 24 months. So I will put it in here and I will explicitly say we are talking about months. So very easily, now I have these options 12, 18, and 24. Of course, I have, yeah, because it's simple, I have just put it in here, but you understand the concept. It's a list that you can separate with commas, and it will show each value as an option. Now, the type. This is also something cool. The data model, since we have a data model of loan type, I can just easily put it in here. And this will do the query and show the results as a table. So we can also see the preview. So you can see it in here. It's showing me all the possible types of loans that I have on my database. And when I choose one of them, then I can show, yeah, well, I can configure this, but I'm taking again the attributes of the name and the interest rate. That's pretty cool, right? And it's what's very easy. And of course, oh, so sorry. I can play so on customizing this form, this page. For that, I can go to assets and apply a new style. So for example, maybe you already know this this website called Bootswatch. So it contains free themes based on Bootstrap. So I can choose one of them, for example, Minty. And then what I'm just going to do is take the link to the Bootstrap CSS. And that way, I can just easily put it in here. I will add a new asset. I will say it's a CSS asset, external, and I can put it in here. Of course, for your website, I recommend not referencing an external website. This is just for this demo, but just put your theme, for example, somewhere in your domain, and you can easily access it this way. So just you don't lose control of your assets, right? That's the idea. So now I will do the preview, and do you see now it's using the style, the Minty style, the Minty CSS theme. And that was really very easy. Something also cool is that, for example, I can choose a container, for example, this one showing the information on the selected type. And then since our themes contain, where am I? Since our themes, if I go to see Minty, this theme, it will show me all the elements that it contains. And for example, I could say this one uses this class exactly. I have seen something called the cars, for example. So I want to use this style. So what I need to do is just copy the class name, for example, in here. And I can say, okay, this container, I want to use this CSS class. And that way, very easily, so you have just applied the class to that element that you have selected, and automatically it will correlate the CSS classes with your elements. Pretty cool. So how am I going to do this? So the type, as I said, let's go back here. I don't want to select like this. I want to select from here my type. So what I'm just going to do is, so just select. Instead of having a select, I will switch it to an input, just to make it a little bit clearer. Okay, I'll switch. What I'm seeing in here, so I'm saying that the value that it's in here, I'm correlating it to my variable called form input loan request type. What does this mean? So in here I have a variable, which is a JSON, that will contain all this. So loan request input, and inside I have an amount, a type, a duration. That looks a lot at our contract, right? So this is exactly how the contract helped us to make this form and easily just map what we are, the values that we will get from the form. Okay, so in the same way, I will say, let's take a look just at this table. So what's important in here is that the selected row is being saved on the loan type selected. And in that way, so the name is coming exactly from my loan type selected dot name. And my interest rate is from loan type selected dot interest rate. So everything in here it's a JSON that I can just take the attributes from my variable. And in the same way, for example, I will just use this one to say, okay, my value is going to be, so the loan type selected, like this. So I can say that it's a variable. So loan type selected, and I know there is something called a persistence ID string, because this is what we need to remember the script to get the type of loan that we are choosing. Okay, I will say, for example, this is a read-only. And so what does this mean? I have, it's not putting in there. Okay, oh yes. The one thing that I want to do is I will modify just a little bit tiny this to make it a little bit more simple. Instead of having a type and inside the persistent ID, I will just call it the type persistence ID string at the same level as the duration and the amount. Okay, save it. And now I have this type selected persistence ID string that I'm coming from here, and I will put it exactly in here, the type persistence ID string. Okay, and so this way, I don't know if you can see it on my screen because it's a little bit small, but every time that I choose one, I can see the persistence ID is changing in here. So that way, I will be able to ask for a loan by filling out an amount and the duration and submit. Well, of course, I'm on the preview, so I will be able to launch the process, but I will be able to see this this form. I will choose the type, I will put the amount and the duration that I want, and I will be able to submit. And with my own theme. So I have, in just several clicks, very easily, I have customized my UI. So this is one way of customizing and applying a theme for your for your forms and pages. Let me show you another way of doing this. So in here, we can also create a new application. So an application descriptor. What will this do? So let's just take a look at the application concept. When I go to application, when I click on application, I have this Bonita application directory. So I can access, by default, Bonita comes with two types of applications, the Bonita administrator application and the Bonita user application, right? So this one, it's maybe the one that you know better if you have used by default if you have created a process and just launch it, you normally use the Bonita user application, okay? But yeah, let's go back again then, just to know what an application is. So I can easily add a new application descriptor. So for example, this is the Acme Bank. And the display name is the Acme Bank. Yeah, so I will just add it. And I can easily put in here a theme. That's interesting. So by default, it's the theme Bonita. And I can also put some navigation pages in here. Let me show you first the navigation. I will add one menu page. So for example, these are my tasks. The cool thing is that you can add some pages in here. Bonita already has some pages in there. So for example, I will look for task and I will add it as the page that I want to show when the user chooses my tasks element on the menu. And the token is how we're going to access that page. And let me add some another page. So for example, this is my home. And yes, I have created a home page that I will just show you after this. And I will call it a home. Where are these elements? You might be wondering, as well as the theme. So let me go back again to the application list. I will go this time to the Bonita Administrator application. As an administrator, you can go to resources and you can take a look at all the pages, all the forms, layout, themes, and IPA extensions that you have. So as I said, the pages, there is a task list. So it's already in there. It comes with Bonita, so you can use it. And as I was saying, I created a page just before, and it's available on my UI designer because it's a page that I created myself. Let me show it to you. So I just added, for example, an image, a button, and as we did for the loan type, now I want to show all my loan requests. So I have drag and dropped the list, and I will be able to get a look at all my loans. Okay. The only thing that it's a little bit different is that in here, I have said this is a little bit different because I wanted to just get the filter by ID requester. So I just want to get the request, the loan request that I have made. I don't want to see the whole bank's request, right? It doesn't make sense. So I have said, okay, from my session info, get the user ID. How do I know this is something that I can fetch? So last time I introduced also something very cool. Where is it? Yeah, in here. It's the new, our new API documentation website. So in here, I just look for a session, and the address is API -documentation.bonitasub.com, and get the current user information. I look just for session, and then very easily tells me, okay, you need to do a get towards API/system/session and /unused ID. And that way, that call will give you, with a success, all these attributes in your JSON. And even there's an example on the right. So it's very, I really like this new website, which makes it easier for us to take a look at the available APIs in Bonita. So that's how I got it. So yes, the summary is go to API -documentation.bonitasub.com, look for the API or the thing that you're looking for to do, then just get the address that you need to call and take a look at the answer and the sample of the answer, and then come here, create a variable. That's what I've done in here. Say it's an external API call, put the URL in here, and that way you will be able to fetch the attributes on your response in there very easily. Okay, so let's just go back, yes, to the resources part. So as I said, you can take a look at all the things in here. I have not added a theme yet. Let's install a new theme. So as I said, it's also based on the Boots watch. I have created a theme, which is a zip, and I will just install it that way. So now it appears in here. And I can see that my theme is called Custom Page Acme Theme. So now on my Bonita, I can just say, instead of using the theme Bonita, use the Acme theme. The only thing that you need to take care is that it starts with custom page underscore, custom page underscore, and then the name that you have given to your theme. I will say also that my home page uses the token home. So that way my application page is being called as with that token. Okay. Now I will save this. I will save again my diagram. I will save everything. And now it's time to deploy. Oh yeah, sorry. Just one more thing. You can also say which profile is your application that you have just described for. So the profile, as I said, you can use two different profiles. So the user and the administrator. In here, I'm saying this is for the user profile. So I will just deploy it. I will deploy then everything in here. Yes. Oh, yes, I have. So some current configuration errors. Why? It's saying just that I have not mapped the actors with my current organization. So what I'm going to do is this last thing that I just forgot. Let me show you that the organization is the Acme organization. Just I have done three changes. So the first one is that I have added a second group, which is called customers. How did I do this? So I went to add group and added this customers group. Okay, so my first group called Acme contains all my department, my Acme department, and this one will contain my customers. I have also added a new role, which is the committee member role in here. And I have added a new user, which is myself, so Talia Cruz. I left the same password, so just for the test, BPM. And yes, I have put in here my personal contact, which is talia.cruz@bonitasouth.com. And I have said, okay, I am a customer. Okay, I belong to the customer. So I have just made these changes to make it compliant with our example. Yes, and Daniela Angelo, yes, that's the last changement that I've done. I've said she is a committee member, okay, because we need someone in this committee member. Now that you have taken a look at this, I will just come back then to my configuration. That's what we are missing. So just mapping. So the employees will be my Acme group. The customer, so also will be my customers group. Okay, my customer counselor, it's going to be the group, but it's going to be Acme on sales. Okay, this is something that I have decided. And my committee member, so I can use the role, the committee member role. I can also say it's mostly a membership, so it's a little bit more detailed. So it belongs to the Acme organization, and it belongs to the Acme group, and it has the committee member role. So that way I have just mapped my actors with my organization. Finish. And so normally now I will be able to run and take, I am logged as Talia Cruz, so I am able to take a look at the Bonita user application. I will go and now to my application list. As we can see now, we see the Acme Bank application as well as the two other ones. So maybe there is something that we need to modify, is that Talia Cruz, so which is a customer, should not be able to take a look at the Bonita administrator application, right? So how can we change this? Let me just log in as someone else, Walter Bates. He is also he is also able to see the 3 applications. If I go to my Bonita administrator application, I can also take a look at my organization. So take a look at my profiles, and I can see in there that I have the administrator and the user. So if I can map by users, with groups, with roles, with memberships. By default, it's done this way. But we can modify it, of course. Let me just show you that if I look for Talia, so she's listed in here, I can just remove it. So yes, Talia doesn't have an administrator profile. And I say, okay, close. Now I will be logged in as Talia. Cruz, BPM. And now, yeah, it makes more sense. I don't have access to the administrator application. I just have access to this one. And yeah, take a look. It's a really cool application that now uses the Acme Bank theme, which makes more sense, right? And my task, that's what I was saying, I'm taking the page that comes with Bonita. So yeah, it was very easy to just include it in my own application. I will take a look at the answers, at the questions, if you have any. Okay, I don't see any questions still. Okay. Don't hesitate to put it on the panel, or if you want to take a look at something else. I think then I have the time just to test. Everything should be working correctly. So I need a personal loan. I need then 5,000 euros, and I need it for 12 months. Let's see if it's working. Oh, great. So I have a debug, an error, valid sector diluted. Okay. My selected input type is missing. What am I missing? Well, let me just show you. Let me just switch, because I have just this backup project in case I miss something. It happens sometimes. You have the demo effect, or I have forgotten something. So let me just switch, which is the very, very equivalent of what we've done. And just let me show you that, yeah, it works. Anyway, I will share the project with you. And if I'm missing something, that can happen when you do some live coding, right? But sorry about that. I will then use this one and then deploy it. Everything. Maybe I don't need to put everything in there. So normally I should put it in. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, deploy. Oh, what's happening here? Okay. Yes, you will get the recording just after the session. Well, just after. I expect at the end of the week or beginning of next week. So just publishing and then sharing the page. Okay, what am I missing in here? No. I hate this demo effect when it happens at the end of the day. So I need to take a look at the logs, but I don't like debugging live, you know. What am I doing wrong? Okay, name install, enable, with Acme Bank. Oh, I'm missing the theme. Okay. So I can just add the theme, right? Yeah, very easily. I want to go as an administrator, resources, install. Okay, the Acme theme. Okay. Close. Yay. So now it'll come back again. Sorry, it was my mistake because I didn't add the theme on this one. Yes, it's in here. I will put myself as Talia Cruz because I was saying Acme Bank. And yeah, so for example, I have here some loans already in there. I'm asking for a personal loan. I said 12 months, and the amount I said 5,000, right? So yeah, it's working and it's showing in here. Okay. Do you have any other questions? I will just take a look if I have missed some of the questions that you were having. Okay. Great. Well, I hope that you liked this demo. As always, I will share the code on community. So it's in here. Yeah. In our community website. So we have the blog, and in here, if you missed the last episode, for example, you can take a look at our post. And I put the questions that we answered, the replay link, and the code on GitHub. So I will kind of do the same, the equivalent for this session. And of course, don't hesitate to put all your comments at the end if you have any. And of course, next month we will have another step. And next month also we have the beta version of Bonita 2023.1. So don't miss it. We are having some new concepts. I'm sure that you will like them. So if you want to be informed, don't hesitate also to tell me. There's a final question. If you wanted to add Cypress test locators, where would that go? I have never used Cypress test locators, so I'm not really sure. I prefer to take your question and then investigate with my colleagues if they have already done that and how to do it. Okay? Thank you very much. So thank you for your time and see you next time. Bye-bye.